Welcome back to Dead Cat Gaming, and welcome to an all-new series called Darkest Dungeon 2 on Site. In this series, I will be playing through Darkest Dungeon 2 with no prior knowledge of the game. I am going in sight unseen and documenting my journey, my growth, my exploration of what I hope is going to be a really deep, really rewarding, and really fun adventure. Darkest Dungeon 2. Let's launch it. Darkest Dungeon is about making the most of a bad situation. You are not expected to succeed on your first expedition or even your 10th. Heroes will die, failure will abound, and the world will seek to smother your flame. Take heart. Do not relent. Press forward through the encroaching gloom and face your fears. Redemption at last can be found deep within the icy depths of the Darkest Dungeon 2. And we will begin a new journey.
Found you at last. My protege, my friend. Our calculations were correct. The ephemeral equation is unbalanced. The Earth spins on a strange and terrifying new axis. And everywhere, unbridled consequence. The world is a wasteland of failures past. And yet, you must ride out into it, unafraid. Take this. It is hope, the very last of it. It is yours now. You were bold once. Be bold once more. Free yourself from this suffocating stillness. Fix your gaze on the horizon. And face the fearsome truth of the Darkest Dungeon. The house on the borderlands, half swallowed by the stain.
Unbridled consequence indeed. I love Darkest Dungeon. I'm so excited to get back into this franchise. It's one of my all-time favorites. The first choice it is giving me is complete your confession. Choosing your confession. Let's read that. Choosing your confession. Which confession you choose determines which final entity you must face in the mountain. It also changes the properties of some enemies via ordainment. Knowing that confession's challenge may affect your decisions about how best to mount your expedition. Okay, so different confessions are different final bosses and different enemy properties. And we can read more about ordainment. Let's do that. The closer you get to the mountain, the greater the chance that enemies you encounter will be ordained. Ordainment gives that enemy extra power by way of increased stats. The exact effects of ordainment are different depending on which confession you are attempting. Okay, so different confessions mean different final bosses and different enemy buffs, especially closer to the mountain. So a little bit like different levels maybe, or different regions in different regions in Darkest Dungeon, the original. Well, but I can only choose the first. I don't actually get a choice right now. I can only choose the first one, Denial. Let's do that. I'm signing Reus Captius, something like that. I wonder what that means in Latin.
You have cowered in your crumbling denial long enough.
All right, this must be our stagecoach. I remember seeing something like that. Oh, look, I can go forward. I remember seeing something like this in some kind of a trailer. But essentially, I know nothing about the game I'm about to play. Oh, I can turn.
I remember our first meeting on the steps of the university. A collegial handshake. That would doom us both. Your insightful questions during my lectures gave me pause. And I recognized in you something of a kindred spirit. Despite our differences in age and position, we shared a keen fascination for archaeology, folklore, and, of course, occultism. The crossroads, where lost souls hope to find their way.
Okay, so we are not the Ancestor's descendant this time. We're his friend and protege and colleague. Oh, also there's this tooltip for the stagecoach. I want to read that. The stagecoach. The stagecoach is your carriage, your coffin, and your confessional. And we can read more about driving. Press W to drive the coach forward, or double tap W for auto drive. Use A and D or the arrow keys to steer. I love that auto drive. That's gonna be great for my my hand. Yeah, take care of your hands, everybody. Stagecoach view. Press Z to bring up the stagecoach view. This shows what upgrades are currently installed on the coach. Upgrades can only be changed at the Wainwright, who is present at each inn. So maybe we're gonna be riding the stagecoach from inn to inn, and then when we're at an inn, we can ask the Wainwright to upgrade our coach or swap out upgrades. Excellent. Can I see stagecoach view now? I can. Our stagecoach is called the Last Hope. I can rename that, but why would I? It's perfect. Trophies. Trophies are required to enter the mountain. They are found by defeating lair bosses. Stagecoach equipment. 3 locked slots, which can be unlocked at the Altar of Hope. And a pet. Our stagecoach, not surprisingly, is looking pretty unadorned as we begin our adventure. Alright, now, next I see is the crossroads. Guilt, loathing, failure, regret, disgrace. The crossroads. Ooh, okay, now I get characters. Now I get characters. I'm very excited. Let's read this tooltip about the party. The party. 4 heroes will join together on this expedition. Our salvation rides with them. Party creation. Click and drag hero portraits to assemble your party of 4 heroes. The hero in the rightmost position of your roster will be first in the combat line. much like in Darkest Dungeon, the original, hero paths. Each class of hero has multiple potential paths, which are specializations. The different paths can have wildly different strengths and weaknesses, which influence how you may wish to use that hero. Paths are unlocked for use at the Altar of Hope. And that's also where I unlock slots for my stagecoach upgrades. Once unlocked, they can be assigned at the crossroads when you assemble your party. So I'm a little late to the Darkest Dungeon 2 game. I want to talk more about that later, but I think this is a big new thing that they just patched recently, the Altar of Hope. I was reading a little about this. It sounded like the progression system, the persistent progression system, upgrading your heroes, upgrading your stagecoach was not super deep or robust at launch. I think the game has been out for early access on Epic Games for maybe about 9 months or even a year at the time of this recording, so definitely a little bit behind the curve, but that's allowed. We're gonna get right caught up. I think this Altar of Hope is the new system for leveling your heroes, and it's a little deeper, and it sounds like there are different paths, different specializations. I think that's pretty brand new, recent patch, and I'm certainly excited to start leveling heroes. Let's read about roster arrangement. Yes, you can rearrange your party order while driving by clicking and dragging their portraits. Party order determines what position each hero is in when battle starts. The furthest hero to the right begins at the front line of combat. Just like in Darkest Dungeon 1. Beautiful. Alright, so it looks like the game is offering us 4 heroes to get started. In Darkest Dungeon 1, it was always the Crusader, the Highwayman, the Vestal, and the Plague Doctor. Here in Darkest Dungeon 2, it seems to be the Man-at-Arms, the Highwayman, the Grave Robber, and the Plague Doctor. I'm so glad to see the Man-at-Arms. I always had a special fondness for him in the original. Our Man-at-Arms name is Barristan. He is a wanderer. He is a resolute defender, tempered by the merciless blows of innumerable assaults.
Pride. More devastating than the horrors of 100 campaigns.
And we have our highwayman, Dismas. Dismas is back from the original. Dismas is also a wanderer, violently versatile, ruthlessly pragmatic.
Hunted, harried, a fugitive seeking to outpace the past.
And we have Audrey, the Grave Robber, agile, graceful, and singularly surreptitious.
Avarice slips unseen into the catacombs of the mind.
And finally, we have Paracelsus, the Plague Doctor, who is also a wanderer. What is a physician if not a student of decay?
Indiscriminate science stains the surgeon's hands.
Oh, and look at this. Look at this. They call this party arrangement the Unusual Suspects. How cute is that? The default party in Darkest Dungeon, the original, was called the Usual Suspects. It was Crusader in slot 1. What was it? Crusader in slot 1, Highwayman in slot 2, Plague Doctor in slot 3, Vestal in slot 4. Default party now is the Unusual Suspects, Man-at-Arms, Highwayman, Grave Robber, and Plague Doctor. A delightful callback. We proceed. The Valley.
You came here seeking solace, but found stagnation instead.
Let me try that auto run. Yes! Take care of your hands, everybody. Always use an auto run feature. I'm 36 and my hands are really starting to hurt after 25 years of hardcore gaming. Take care of your hands so that you don't hurt in your 30s. The desperate few. Help us. Alright, we can read a tooltip about encounters. Encounters. During encounters such as this one, heroes will voice opinions on a course of action. You must choose one of their wishes. Click and hold on a choice to select it. The results will be previewed at the bottom of the screen. Alright, we can read a lot more about encounters. Affinity changes. Heroes often have vastly different opinions about how a given encounter should be resolved. When you choose a hero's response, any heroes that agree with the acting hero will have their mutual affinity increased, gold glow. Any heroes that disagree strongly with the acting hero will have their mutual affinity decreased. That'll be a blue glow. We can read about 4 types of encounters. Resistance encounters. Each region is overwhelmed with local evil, just as it should be. Resistance encounters are battles with these monsters. Winning resistance encounters is the primary way in which you can gain mastery points and earn treasures that will make the heroes more powerful. It also reduces loathing. So, fight monsters, get rewards. Oh, battling evil is not without risk. But if you avoid all resistance encounters, you will find your party ill-prepared to tackle the mountain. That sure sounds a lot like a roguelike to me. That sounds a lot like Slay the Spire. That sounds a lot like Griftlands. Let's read about assistance encounters. Assistance encounters bring the heroes face to face with the downtrodden local populace. These forlorn creatures are in need of help, and often have valuable supplies to offer the heroes in return. Helping the locals is the best way to restore flame. Help the locals regain your flame. Cultist encounters. Cultists emanate from the mountain and the great evil contained therein. Cultist encounters are always a tough fight, but the rewards are equally valuable. Stave off the evil, reduce your loathing, and use the spoils to equip yourself for the final assault on the mountain. So cultists are harder, but they give better rewards. Finally, we have creature den encounters. Wild beasts make their refuge in dens throughout the corrupted regions. These creatures put up a fierce defense, but it's well known that rare animal parts fetch attractive rewards from innkeepers and provisioners, desperate for delicacies and weird ingredients. So, fight monsters, get supplies, get crafting materials, get components. Yeah, fight monsters and power up. I think I follow. Okay, what do these people want? They want help us. Hold Alt on choices for more info. Okay, it looks like Audrey and Paracelsus have ideas. Audrey says, "We light the way for more than merely us now." So that means she wants to help, I guess? Paracelsus says, "Hope is contagious once it catches." I guess that means she wants to help. Oh, and then I can look at details in this bar at the bottom. Okay, if I side with Paracelsus, I will get food and flame. If I side with Audrey, I will get trinket, chance, and flame. Well, maybe I'll go for the trinket.
In crisis, No gain is insignificant.
Rewards, yours for the taking. Plus 100 flame and a minor hail draft, which will raise my max HP, but will lower my critical percent chance. Maybe give that to my tank, the man-at-arms, Barristan. Also, I can look at a tooltip about inventory. Your stagecoach is limited in how many items it can carry. Press I to view what you have. Inventory stacking. Your shared inventory is split between all item types. Some items stack well, whereas others take an entire slot. Use the inventory tabs to easily see each item type. Some stagecoach equipment increases stacking limits. Full inventory. If the stagecoach becomes full, you may wish to discard less important items. Click and drag them off of the inventory window. Items cannot be sold anywhere, so throw away what you don't need. That's a little different than Darkest Dungeon 1. You could sell your leftover items at the end of a run. You wouldn't get any money for it, really, but you could sell them. Alright, throw away what you don't need. Items cannot... Oh, and you could sell your trinkets. You could sell your trinkets in Darkest Dungeon, the original. I remember that was how I made a lot of my money, maybe? Oh, I also remember getting those purple-black crystals with the and the antiquarian could get you a lot of money. In the secret room, those black crystals were in the secret room. The antiquarian could get you a lot of money anywhere. Alright, inventory management, I follow. I suppose it's nice to help the rabble on occasion. We ride onward. Oh, I got a tooltip about treasures. Treasures. Trinkets, combat items, inn items, and stagecoach equipment will all help you on your quest. You will also find relics and baubles, which can be used to purchase supplies from vendors. Trinkets. Each hero may equip up to 2 trinkets at a time. Trinkets confer bonuses or special abilities and can drastically improve a hero. Trinkets may be removed or swapped when outside of combat. Equipping trinkets. Open inventory with I and select the trinket filter to see only trinkets. Then drag a trinket from inventory to an empty hero slot to equip it. Combat items. Combat items, okay, I think this is new. Combat items are equipped into a dedicated skill slot on each hero. To equip one, click the slot, and then double-click or drag the combat item from the inventory. Equipping a combat item allows it to be used during combat. Combat items are free actions. One item may be used each hero turn, right before they use their normal skill. Alright, so that's new. That's exciting. Gotta figure out how to optimize our combat items. Mastery points. Mastery points are earned mostly through combat victories. Each point will upgrade a hero skill. So what that replaces... Who was it where you would go to upgrade your hero skills in Darkest Dungeon 1? Was it the training tent? I forget who that was. Now we do it with mastery points. Relics. Relics are the main currency of the land, used to buy most supplies. You'll find relics mostly as spoils of battle. So it's not gold, it's relics. And baubles. Baubles are used only to purchase trinkets. Baubles come in different forms for each region. All bauble types are worth the same, but take up different space in your inventory. Your total baubles are shown by the triangle-like symbol in the inventory. So baubles get us trinkets. Alright, there's a lot of loot to be had. There are a lot of upgrades to be earned. Let's keep going. Oh, I noticed down here we're in the burst of hope.
He chatters incoherently, but his prices remain fixed.
It is the Hoarder. Alright, who are you, the Hoarder? Alright, what is this? I can buy things. Can I sell things? Relics are a currency. So and they're represented by a little yellow square within a square. I have 48 relics. I also have 4 glimmers of hope. Oh, this is a combat item. I can use it to improve, to regain flame. Absolutely incredible. I also have the minor hail draft, my trinket. Alright, what are you gonna sell me, Hoarder? A noisemaker, which is a combat item. It's a contraption with 1 target. It adds 2 speaker and adds a shield. What is that? What are those? What is the speaker? What is the shield? I don't know. Particularly that speaker is new. I want to know all about that. We could buy the Pouch of Lie, which is a combat item. It's a powder. It affects the party and it clears all corpses. Sometimes we need to clear the battlefield of corpses. We do that with our Pouch of Lie. I can buy a burn salve, which is also a combat item. These are all combat items up here in red. The burn salve will cure a burn and heal hit points. That seems great. We can buy 8 total items with our 48 relics. We could get a bear trap, which is a combat item. It's a trap, it's serrated, it is single target. It puts on bleeding for 3 points per round, and it adds some kind of bear trap icon. Maybe that prevents the target from moving. That's what I would guess. We'll find out. We can buy bandages, which are a combat item. They are woven, they are single target, they cure bleeding and heals HP. And we can buy anti-venom, which is a combat item. It's a concoction, single target. It cures, I imagine that's blight or poison, and heals HP. Oh, what else, Hoarder? We can buy Clotting Poultice, which is an in item. It's a poultice, it's single target. It gives plus 25% bleeding resistance until the next in. However, it can be blocked by hemophobia. So maybe at inns we will get to use items to buff ourselves for the next phase of the journey. Impermeable Poultice, in item, poultice, single target, plus 25 blight resistance. Playing cards, in item, party, maybe that's 75% stress reduction, and well, it's 75% yellow diamond and 25% blue diamond. Don't know what those are. Pipeweed, in item, 2 targets, minus 2 stress each, and a yellow diamond. Ceremonial Drum, in item, single target, 40 purple arrow resistance until the next in. Storage Trunk, inventory slots. For the stagecoach, Strongbox increases stacking for relics in the stagecoach. Food Barrels, stagecoach equipment, increases stacking for slime mold, stale bread, apples and cheese, steak and spuds, and flapjacks by 4 per stack. I want flapjacks. And then at the bottom are all of these trinkets that we can't even afford because we don't have any purple triangles, which are baubles? Is that what that was? Baubles by trinkets? I don't need to read all of these trinkets right now. They all give you some buffs, but do they all also give you a debuff? That would be... God, Darkest Dungeon is such a masochistic, sadistic game. All of your equipment gives you a debuff. Okay, so that was a lot. What are we actually buying to take with us? I would like a set of playing cards. I would like... some pipeweed. You know, we do want to have fun. We do want to have a little bit of fun out on the road. I think we should bring... let's bring an anti-venom, a bandages, and a bear trap. No, and a burn salve. And we'll hold off on trying everything else. We'll, of course, be trying everything eventually. I guess we can afford one more item. What's fun? Let's bring the noisemaker and see if we can have fun figuring out what that is. It certainly looks cute. It's a little clockwork monkey with symbols. Yeah, that's gonna ruin our enemy's whole day. And it's gonna make our whole day. Alright, thank you, Hoarder. We'll see you again, I'm sure. That ghostly man, the way he was leering. Alright, now we get our tooltip about the flame. The stagecoach carries the flame, which is the last hope for the world. It will gradually diminish as you drive, but helping local populace in assistance encounters can refill it. The lower it gets, the harder things will be for the party. Do not let the flame expire. We can read about low flame. When the flame gets below 40, things start to get significantly more dangerous for the heroes. Monsters get combat bonuses, and there are increased chances that battle modifiers will further increase the monster's power. The waning flame also increases the chance that heroes will develop negative affinities with each other. People get grumpy in the dark. Visit assist encounters to raise the flame. And we can read about flame extinguished. When the flame reaches 0, the heroes are ambushed by fiendish cultists. If the heroes survive the fight, then the expedition will continue with the tiny flicker of flame still alive. So that all feels a little different than in Darkest Dungeon 1, where there were certain incentives to traveling in dim light or even no light.
The point of no return welcomes you with open arms.
We cross a covered bridge. A blockade?
You see, even your valley is not immune to the spreading stain.
Blocking our path down the road, we find a lost soul, and a widow. And we get our tooltip about combat. Combat. Oh boy, combat. A lot of reading. We're gonna do it. Oh my goodness, look at all of this. We're gonna do it. Combat is turn-based. In most cases, the fight lasts until one side is completely defeated. Once in a battle, there is no retreat. Turn order. Each hero or enemy rolls initiative at the beginning of each round, and this is modified by their speed. The turn order is shown by the portraits in the top right of the screen. Only a partial turn order is shown. You can plan ahead a little, but not completely. That's interesting. That's a little different than in the original. In the original, you don't get any information about turn order. Actions. On a hero's turn, you may first use a combat item, if they have one equipped. This is a free action. Then you may use a hero skill normally. Either way, click on the item or skill in the displayed skill bar. You may also use the number key 1 through 7 corresponding to the skill slot. 7 skills! I think I read that in an article somewhere. 7 skills up from 4. We're going to be so versatile. Those monsters aren't going to stand a chance. Skills. Skills can only be used if the hero is in the correct launch rank. They also can only be used against valid enemies in the correct target rank. To see what ranks a skill can target, look at the tooltip of the skill. The circular pips tell you this information. A solid pip means the skill is valid in that rank. An empty pip means it is not. Some skills can target multiple enemies at a time, which is shown by pips joined together. These are area of effect skills. That is identical to the original game. That is all right out of the original game. Skills Part 2. In addition to doing damage, skills can use a variety of effects. Most of those effects are shown by tokens. To see what each token means, mouse over it. You can also hold G to see the token glossary. That would be hold G. Academic View. Academic View. I love this series. During combat, hold Alt or click the middle mouse button while mousing over heroes or enemies to see the Academic View. This valuable screen shows full details on any tokens the combatant has. Perhaps even more valuable, the view shows details about what combat skills enemies have. Skills start hidden, but as you observe the enemy use them in combat, the skills will be revealed. Use this information to strategize about how to defeat them. Incredible. I love that. I love that so much. We learn about we don't know what our enemies are like. We don't know what our enemies are like. We have no information about them, in fact, but as we observe them, we will learn more. We will learn their strengths. We will learn their weaknesses. We will learn how to defeat them handily. Dots. Some attacks inflict a dot damage over time. Bleed, blight, and burn are all damage over times. Damage over times cause damage at the beginning of the combatant's turn until they expire or are cured. Many skills and combat items can cure damage over times. Bleed and blight return from the original, and we add on burn. Light 'em up. Death's Door. When a hero is reduced to 0 HP, they are on Death's Door. Any further damage has a chance to kill the hero, depending on their death blow resistance. Use a helpful combat item or a healing skill to restore some of the hero's HP before they can be slain. Death's Door, a quintessential defining mechanic from the original, returning. Very glad to see it. I think it's a very, very strong way of handling death in a video game. I think it's extremely compelling. Monster death blows. Some monsters have death blow resistance, just like heroes. When a monster is on death's door, each further blow has a chance to slay it. Some skills and trinkets can increase the chance of executing the enemy outright. Repeated blows to the monster while it's on death's door will also reduce its death blow resistance. So that is new. Enemies got a big buff. Enemies got access to death's door. Token glossary. Hold G to view the token glossary. Combo token. Combo tokens are special compared to other tokens. Many hero and monster skills have special effects that only happen if the target has a combo token on them. In all cases, the combo token is bad for its recipient. Having it means that the actor is vulnerable to some very damaging and disruptive skills. Combo tokens are best used as 1-2 punches. Use one hero to place a combo token, and then use another hero to take advantage of it. This is new. This is not in the original. Passing to heal. Passing to heal. If the hero is on death's door, they will regain some health if you choose to pass their turn. Use the pass skill option instead of using another skill. This is a good way to quickly get a hero out of the death threat, especially if you have no healing items or other heroes with healing skills. That's exciting. I think that feels like a big buff to the player. Anyone can use their turn to come up off of death's door. I wonder if people are complaining that this game is too easy. That I would find that tiresome. You know, games are good. Not every game needs to be the same as every other game. I guess I'll have to see for myself what I think of this game, but I don't think we need to gatekeep Darkest Dungeon 2 because it's not as punishing as Darkest Dungeon. Heroes. The hero sheet holds critical information. Open it with C or by right-clicking any hero portrait. Hero sheet is where you can view stats, relationships, skills, quirks, diseases, trinkets, and more. Regardless of which tab you're on, you can always see the hero's stats, quirks, diseases, and trinkets. Mouse over any stat to view a tooltip that shows any active buffs or debuffs. Relationships tab. This is new. This tab shows you the hero's current affinity or relationship with each other hero. Gold pips indicate positive affinity. Blue pips are negative. Quirks. Quirks are positive or negative personality traits. Quirks with a little golden kind of cross are rare. Negative quirks can be treated and removed at the hospital. Positive quirks can be reinforced and locked into place there as well. That mechanic returns from the original. Combat skills. This tab shows the hero's combat skills. You may equip 5 skills at a time, plus there's a dedicated 6th slot for combat items. Oh, what about 7 skills? What happened to that? Now it's 5 skills at a time. Each hero has 11 skills that may eventually be unlocked. That is so tantalizing. I am so excited to get into it. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun. Hero conditions. This tab shows any conditions present on the hero. Conditions are usually long-term buffs or debuffs that result from in-item use at the inn. Alright, so we have our hero sheet. It has a ton of information about every hero. We'll learn how to read those hero sheets over time. Alright, can we finally throw some punches, please? Alright, first up is Paracelsus, our plague doctor. I can use a noxious blast. I can use blinding gas. I can use an ounce of prevention. Alright, what can I do with these things? Noxious Blast is gonna do a little bit of damage, and it's gonna try to apply Blight. I think that's returning. I think that exact skill is returning from the original. See the pips that it was talking about earlier, the 3 yellow dots and the 2 blue dots. The 3 yellow dots mean the Plague Doctor can use this ability when she is standing in either the 4th or the 3rd or the 2nd position, but not if she were in the front 1st position. If she were in front, she would not be able to use this ability. The 2 blue dots means that she can target the enemies in the 1st and 2nd positions. Blinding gas. Oh, okay, so this is new. Blinding gas targets the back 2 rows, and it puts on the little teal skull, and it puts on an eyeball with a line through it, which I imagine is blindness. How did I ever guess? Let's, oh, here's the, what is this called? It's called the token glossary. Okay. Blind, indeed. 50% chance to miss next attack. And then the teal skull is combo. Triggers additional skill effects when targeted. Okay, so we have combo and blindness. Okay, Ounce of Prevention will give somebody resistance to all 3 debuffs, or all 3 damage over times, rather, bleeding, blight, and burn. It will also give them disease resistance. Incredible. Okay, and those are the skills I can use right now. What do I want to do? What is my enemy's blight resistance like? Oh, it's very good. The Lost Soul has 40 blight resistance, and the Widow has 20 blight resistance. So that's tough. Let's remember that the Lost Soul is very vulnerable to bleeding, very vulnerable to burn, and let's remember that the Widow is very vulnerable to bleeding. So bleeding is good for Lost Souls and Widows. Do they have an enemy type? Whoa. I don't see a type here. I see Gaunt. I wonder if that's their enemy type. I wonder if they are the Gaunt. That'd be pretty good. Look at how they bounce. Look at how freaking good they all look. Look at how absolutely beautiful this game is. I am feeling a lot of excitement. Can I make a choice already? I guess I'll just try to get past the Blight Resistance. Here we go. Noxious Blast. Look, she winds up, she lifts her vial of arcane toxins, and she throws.
Stupendous!
And we begin our adventure with a critical hit. That can only be auspicious. Alright, Dismas returns! Dismas returns from Darkest Dungeon 1, where we always began with a crusader named Reynaud and a highwayman named Dismas. Dismas is back. I wonder where Reynaud is. Dismas can do all sorts of things this turn. Wicked Slice. Damage. Ignores death blow resistance. Pistol Shot. Damage. And if a target has combo, Pistol Shot will apply Daze. Their next turn will be delayed until the very end of the round. So Daze means you act last. Duelist's Advance. Leap forward, cause damage, and it has a little meteor ×2. What's the little meteor? Oh, it's Riposte. Yes, please. Counterattack. Oh, Riposte is my favorite mechanic from Darkest Dungeon 1. I think riposting is so fun in Darkest Dungeon 1. Counterattacks counterattacks the next damaging attack, but this ability gives Dismas 2 riposte, so he would counterattack the next 2 damaging attacks. Even ranged attacks, I believe, he will riposte. You explain that to me. Tracking Shot. It ignores 2 crescents, which is dodge. It ignores dodge, and it removes dodge, and it applies combo, but it doesn't do any damage. And finally, we have Take Aim, which removes blindness. This targets Dismas. Dismas targets himself. It removes blindness. It applies dodge and Yellow Sun, which is crit. Next skill has 100% crit and ignores 20% resistance. So Dismas can just crit every other turn if he wants to. I think maybe we can just have a nice pistol slice, a nice wicked slice. Look at that wind up. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I can cock my gun and aim it. I can twirl my knife. I can prepare for a lunge. Oh, so every skill gets a little pre-animation. Oh, I love that so much. Oh, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Alright, Wicked Slice. Dismas flourishes his dagger and stabs. Another critical hit. What is it programmed to make you feel good? That doesn't sound very Darkest Dungeon-y to me. They programmed it so that I get a bunch of crits right at the beginning, so that I feel excited, and maybe I'm just getting lucky. Audrey, our grave robber, acts next. She has a variety of abilities she can use. She has Pick to the Face, the best name for an ability in any video game, period. Pick to the Face returns returns from the original Darkest Dungeon. Thank goodness. If they had cut Pick to the Face, I would have had to refund the game. Its damage, it gets it's more likely to crit when we use combo. Thrown Dagger, its damage, it ignores shield, which is... It ignores shield. Oh, it ignores guarded, which is when someone is protected by an ally. So it can bypass tanking. It can bypass guard. It ignores dodge when the Grave Robber is in stealth. How do we get her in stealth? And again, it benefits from combo. We have Flashing Dagger, which is just damage to positions 2 and 3. We have Poison Dart, which is blight and a little bit of damage, and it benefits from combo. And we have Absinthe, which is limited to 3 uses. Aubrey targets herself. She takes a healthy pull from her flask of absinthe. She heals, but only if her HP is below 25. She gets 3 charges of dodge, and she gets timer with 3 lines, wristwatch. She gets speed. She acts faster next round. So you wait for Aubrey to be low on health, then you pull from the flask of absinthe, and you get a variety of helpful buffs. I think we're, of course, gonna Pick to the Face. Oh, but we gotta see all the animations before. She raises a dagger to throw. She raises 4 daggers to throw. She raises 2, what would you call that? Syringe darts to throw. She reaches for her beloved flask. She hoists her pickaxe, and she swings. Very rude. Okay, what did I just see? I saw a lost soul use Chomp.
Analysis is the natural prelude to action.
Chomp is a melee attack. It can target people in the first 2 positions. It did inflict stress on Barristan, but it didn't inflict a disease. That must, you know, Barristan resisted whatever attempt at disease that was. Alright, Barristan is up. The man-at-arms with his incredible shield, his badge, his shoulder pads, his mace, his eye patch. I love the man-at-arms very much. He has 4 abilities ready to go. He has Crush, returning from the first game. It does damage, and if it attacks someone with combo, it heals the man-at-arms. Incredible. He has Rampart, moves himself forward, knocks back a target, and inflicts daze. You don't get to act until the end of the round. Has that been nerfed a little bit? I think Rampart used to stun. Now it just dazes. So a nerf to Rampart, if I'm right. Defender. Defender. Barristan gives himself 2 blocks, take half damage from the next hit, and he gives an ally 2 guarded, protected by an ally. Finally, Bolster. Barristan takes a deep breath, lowers his stress, gives himself block, removes stress from a friend, and removes vulnerable, where you take 150% damage from the next hit. Take an extra half damage. Those stress reductions only work if his stress or his target stress is above 5. So stress just goes from 1 to 10 now. That's very interesting. And even at stress 0, we do feel tense. I love that. That's Darkest Dungeon for sure. So maybe once we get to half stress, it's time to start bolstering and sloughing away some of that stress. Also, block is take half damage. Block plus is take quarter damage. Guarded is protected by an ally. And I guess that's all I have to say. All right, let's crush. Oh, let's see all the animations though. He lifts his mace. Ooh, he rears back his shield. He knocks his shield. He knocks his shield again. Let's just hit a weird undead right on the head with the big iron ball on a stick, if you'd be so kind. 3 out of 4 critical hits. The game is broken. Okay, what did I just see? I saw... How dare you stun me? Oh, look at her look at herself in the mirror! Are you kidding me? Look at that animation. She looked at herself in a hand mirror. Game of the year confirmed. Okay, what did I see? I saw a widow.
Observe the subject carefully, and you will discover its weaknesses.
I saw a widow use desperate grab. It targets anyone. It attempts to apply stun. And it attempts to pull. So she did not successfully pull Dismas, but she did successfully stun Dismas. And then, much like in the first Darkest Dungeon, if you're stunned, you get a huge buff to stun resistance for your next turn. So you can't just stun somebody over and over again, or you can, but it's much harder to stun someone a second time. Alright, it's back to Audrey. Let's try... Audrey can't... Our only party member who can apply combo is Paracelsus the Witch Doctor. Let's just throw a dagger. And let's crush. Alright, what did I just see? I saw a widow use gruesome reflection. You know. But can we quit it with the negative self-talk, widow? How about lovely reflection, you know? You're beautiful too. No matter how much of your facial skin has sloughed off. It applies stress and also... Oh, it applies stress and it applies horror. Stress is stress. Horror is stress over time. Incredibly rude. Why would you do that? Not cool at all. Let's blinding gas. Oh yeah, look at that animation. Hold aloft your arcane poisonous vial. Light up, ignite your poisonous globule for blinding glass. Light up your vial for ounce of prevention. Let's blinding gas. Okay, it added blind, but it did not successfully put on combo. Incredibly rude. I don't think it will matter as we finish the fight with a pistol shot from Dismas.
A lesson taught is a lesson learned.
Victory, yours for the taking. We earned 2 mastery. So that was our first combat. I thought it was absolutely delightful. I learned a lot. I got to look at Darkest Dungeon. I got to look at Red Hook character sheets. It doesn't get any better than that. Not in this lifetime. Let us progress onward.
Push on to the inn. Rest and resupply await you.
Okay, push on to the inn. Rest and resupply await us. I notice we're in region 1 out of 4, and there only remains 1 league until we reach the inn. Thank you, Red Hook, for putting in that auto-run function. That is truly a mercy for those of us with chronic hand pain. We arrive.
Lower your guard. Soften your gaze. It is safe here.
I saw a decrepit, decaying building beneath the shadow of the mountain. The resolute companions reached the torch and crown. 3 regions remain before we reach the mountain, and next we will learn about the inn. But I think that will wait until the next video. For now, this is Deck Tech Gaming signing off. I'll be back next time, and I hope you will be too.